You grew up in El Paso. Your mother is from Chihuahua. Your father worked for the Border Patrol. They met at a checkpoint. Your mother crossing with her family. Your father checking papers. He waved them through. She says it was luck. He says it was something else. You learn Spanish first, English second. By the time you're 10, you can hear a word and know where the speaker is from. Chihuahua, Sinaloa, Mexico City, Guatemala. Your father calls it a party trick. Your mother calls it a gift. You go to Georgetown, linguistics. You think you'll be a translator at the UN. You think you'll interpret peace treaties and climate accords. You think your gift will build bridges. The FBI recruits you in your senior year. A woman in a gray suit sits in your professor's office. She says they need people who can hear what isn't said. The cartels are using code, slang, regional dialects. They need someone who can listen to a wiretap and tell them not just what the words mean, but who's speaking, where they're from, what they're feeling. You take the job. You tell yourself it's still building bridges, just different bridges. Your first assignment is the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, CJNG. You're 23. You sit in a windowless room in Quantico, headphones on, listening to hours of intercepted calls. At first, it's just voices, men talking about shipments, payments, family. You learn their voices the way you'd learn a song. You know when a man is lying by the pause in his breath. You know when he's scared by the pitch of his vowels. Your supervisor, a man named Harris who never smiles, tells you that you're not just translating, you're profiling. Every word is evidence. Every hesitation is a clue. You listen to men plotting murder, and you write down what they say. Clinical, precise, like you're transcribing a recipe. 6 months in, you hear a voice you recognize, not from a file, from childhood. Your cousin Miguel, your mother's sister's son. He's on a wiretap, talking to a man you know as a lieutenant. He's asking for a favor, a package that needs to cross, a package you know isn't avocados. You sit in the booth, headphones on, and listen to your cousin ask a murderer for help moving product. Your hands are steady. Your voice is steady when you call Harris. You report it. You have to. That's the job. They ask if you want to recuse yourself. You say no. You say you can be professional. You're not professional. You're something else. You listen to Miguel's voice every day for the next 3 months. You hear him laugh. You hear him fight with his wife. You hear him talk about his daughter's birthday. You hear him make deals that will put him in prison for 20 years. When they arrest him, you're in the booth. You hear the raid through his phone, screaming, glass breaking. His voice saying, "Don't shoot, don't shoot, I have a daughter." You take off your headphones. You walk outside. You sit on the curb and watch cars pass, and you don't cry. You don't feel anything. That's when you know something changed. Miguel's trial is 6 months later. You testify. You sit in a chair and look at your cousin, who looks at you with something worse than hate, disappointment. He thought you were family. You tell the jury about the calls, the codes, the packages. He gets 18 years. Your mother doesn't speak to you for a year. She doesn't say she's angry. She just stops calling. When she finally does, her voice is different, not cold, just careful. Like you're a stranger she's trying to understand. You keep working. You tell yourself you did the right thing. You tell yourself that Miguel made his choices. You tell yourself until you believe it. Harris promotes you. You're on the cartel desk now, full-time. You listen to the voices of men who have killed hundreds. You know their names, their families, their fears. You know which one is scared of his wife, which one sends money to his mother every week, which one cries when he talks about his son. You know them better than you know anyone. You know them better than you know yourself. Years pass. You're 30. You've listened to more than 50,000 hours of wiretaps. You can identify 30 distinct regional dialects. You can tell when a man is lying by the way he pronounces a single vowel. You're the best in your unit. Harris says you have a gift. You don't feel gifted. You feel hollow, like you've been emptied out and filled with other people's voices. You meet someone. His name is David. He's a contractor. Normal. He doesn't know what you do. You tell him you're a translator for the government. He doesn't ask more. You date for 2 years. He asks you to marry him. You say yes. You plan a wedding. You look at venues, taste cakes, argue about guest lists, normal things. For a few months, you're almost happy. Then the calls start. Not wiretaps. Personal calls. Your phone rings at 2 a.m. A voice you recognize. One of the voices from the wiretaps. A man you've been listening to for 3 years. He's out. He made bail. He has your number.
He doesn't threaten you. He just talks. He asks about your day. He asks about your fiancé. He asks about your mother. He talks the way he talked to his own mother on the wiretaps. Soft, familiar, like your family. You report it. Harris says they'll look into it. They'll increase security. They'll monitor. The calls keep coming. Every night, same voice, same soft tone. He tells you about his daughter's soccer game. He tells you about the weather in Guadalajara. He tells you he understands. You were just doing your job. He doesn't blame you. That's what terrifies you. Not the threat, the forgiveness. David asks why you're not sleeping. You say work. He accepts it. He always accepts it. The calls continue for 3 months. Then they stop. The man is picked up on a new charge. He's extradited. You never hear his voice again, but you can't sleep. Every night you hear him, not what he said, how he said it, the softness, the forgiveness, the way he made you feel like you were the one who needed to be forgiven. You push it down. You plan the wedding. You smile at David. You tell yourself you're fine. The wedding is small. Your mother comes. She hugs you. She doesn't mention Miguel. Neither do you. For a year, you're almost normal. You work. You come home. You make dinner. You watch TV. David asks about your day. You say it was fine. You don't tell him about the voices. You don't tell him about the wiretaps where you heard a man order a murder while his daughter played in the background. You don't tell him about the man who called you at 2 a.m. to tell you he understood. You can't. Those voices are yours now. They live in your head. They talk when you're trying to sleep. They laugh when you're trying to be happy. One night, David finds you in the bathroom at 3 a.m. You're sitting on the floor, headphones on, listening to nothing. He asks what you're doing. You say you were just checking something. He looks at you like a stranger. He leaves 6 months later. He says you're not there. He says you're somewhere else, listening to something he can't hear, and he can't compete with ghosts. You don't argue. He's right. You're 34 when they assign you to the Sinaloa Cartel desk. New voices, new names, new horrors. You learn them the way you've learned every voice. You know which one has a sick mother, which one has a daughter at Stanford, which one cries when he prays. You're the best. Harris says it at every review. You're the best he's ever seen. You don't want to be the best. You want to be someone who sleeps through the night, someone who doesn't hear voices when the room is quiet, someone who can listen to a man's last words on a wiretap and not carry them forever. But you are the best, so you keep working, you keep listening, you keep translating. One day, a new wiretap comes in, a voice you don't recognize, young, scared. He's talking to a lieutenant about a shipment. His voice shakes. He's new. He doesn't know the codes yet. He's making mistakes. You listen for hours. You hear him get better. You hear him learn. You hear him become what they need him to be. On the last call, he's calm, steady. He doesn't shake anymore. He's one of them now. You take off your headphones. You sit in the booth. You think about the boy you used to be. The one who wanted to translate peace treaties. The one who thought language could build bridges. That boy is gone. You replaced him with someone who can hear a death sentence in a single vowel. Someone who can listen to a man order a killing and feel nothing. You're 38 when the hearing starts. Not your hearing, an oversight committee. They're reviewing the wiretap program, privacy concerns, constitutional questions. You're called to testify. You sit in a room full of people who've never heard what you've heard. They ask if you ever felt uncomfortable with the material. You say yes. They ask if you ever considered quitting. You say yes. They ask why you didn't. You don't have an answer, not one they'd understand. You didn't quit because the voices would follow you anyway, because you stopped being a person somewhere between the first wiretap and now. The committee thanks you. You go back to your booth. You put on your headphones. You listen. That night, you go home. Your apartment is quiet. No David, no family, no one. You sit on the couch and stare at the wall. You can hear them, all of them. Every voice from 15 years.
The man who ordered the hit while his daughter played. The boy who learned to be a killer. Your cousin, Miguel, asking for a favor. The man who called at 2 a.m. to say he understood. They're all there. They live in your head. They talk when you're trying to sleep. They laugh when you're trying to be happy. They are your gift. They are your curse. Your phone rings. Harris. New wiretap. Urgent. You put on your shoes. You go. In the booth, you put on the headphones. The voices come. Clear. familiar. You translate, you write, you do your job. You're good at it. You're the best. Outside, the sun is coming up. You can see it through the blinds, a thin line of light. You haven't seen the sunrise in years. You've been in this room, listening to ghosts, while the world turned without you. You finish the transcription. You save the file. You take off your headphones. The silence is louder than the voices. You sit in the booth for a long time. Then you pick up the headphones. You put them on. You listen. That's what you do. That's who you are. Somewhere, a young woman is learning Spanish at Georgetown. She thinks she'll translate poetry. She thinks her gift will open doors. She doesn't know that the FBI recruits linguists. She doesn't know that one day she'll sit in a booth and listen to men talk about murder and translate every word like it's just language. You hope she says no. You hope she finds another path. You hope she never learns what you learned. But you know she won't. The gift isn't a choice. The gift is a trap. You put the headphones back on. The voices start again. You translate, you write, you listen. You are the language specialist. You are the best. And somewhere in a booth in Quantico, a woman who forgot how to be human is listening to the dead and writing down what they say. Your phone buzzes. Harris, another wiretap, another voice, another night. You answer. You always answer. That's what the gift is for.